good time to move on to our AFC North predictions. This is my division. My team plays here, and I'm excited for this. The Cleveland Browns, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Before we begin our predictions, I got to mention someone on our staff is a Cleveland Browns fan and also a Pittsburgh Steeler fan. I'm not naming names, but...
oh, man, big shout out.
Someone tell me how this is possible. You cannot be a Steelers fan and a Browns fan at the same time. That's like saying you're a Packers and Bears fan. It's not possible. Just pick one. Ride or die with the Cleveland Browns. If I'm picking, you got to ride or die with the Cleveland Browns. You know?
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to bandwagon the mediocre Steelers, you know?
Yeah. But with that being said, I've already predicted this in short form before, and I'm going to be using the same list. So if you want to check out the YouTube short version of this, it's on our YouTube channel. We'll link it in the description of the long form podcast. And of course, if you're listening on air, make sure to check out the YouTube channel to see that. So with that being said, I think we finally have a coin right here. It's once again the penny. They don't make these anymore. It's pretty special.
Abraham Lincoln. Shout out.
Yeah. It's a newer penny. It's from, I believe, 2016. So head side is going to be Mr. Abe. Tails is the shield. So I've only won the coin toss one time in the history of this podcast.
In the long history of, we flip a coin like 5 times at this point, and I'm 1 in 4. So with that being said, you can call this. Sure. I'll call tails. Sorry, Abe.
It is tails. You have won again, and I have lost another coin toss. So
I am so lucky.
You can pick again.
Oh, I just can't wait. Okay, I'll start. I'll start my little ranking here. This is a division that I think can be really competitive. It has a lot of talent within it. With that being said, I think there's a clear kind of last place pick that I have to make here. And, they traded the best player in football. I think it would be surprising if they didn't take a step back from where they were last season. Even though they have a last place schedule, they have a much easier schedule. But
easiest in the league.
They have a solid young core. They just need to prove to me that they can be a functional organization, and they just have shown no evidence that they can. They have good young talent. They got Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion.
Yeah.
Yes. They got weapons. I have the Cleveland Browns going 6-11. Maybe it's a little harsh, but it's like they need to display that they have that they're kind of rooting out the dysfunction, and they haven't proven that to me yet. Honestly.
Okay. I agree that this. I agree with your sentiment here of where they're going to finish around six wins here. I will say this in terms of dysfunction. I think this team has rooted out their football operations in the last 3 years in terms of cleanly operating, because this team has drafted well. Last year's draft class is still looking like the best draft class in the league. And this year's draft class, you get 4 first-round graded prospects in your first 4 picks. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely looking good in terms of drafting and surrounding a young core around a potential quarterback next year. So I'm not saying that this is a bad last place. So I'll let you continue going because you haven't said anything egregious just yet.
Yeah, I mean, the Browns have been a quarterback away since, 1999. But I think
Well, we've had our quarterback before. I'll say Baker Mayfield.
Sure. I'll give you Baker. But I think that I would put this team on a similar level to the Titans, where they have a lot of talent if they're developed well. If these players turn into the stars that they're promised to be, then the sky's the limit. They got pieces on the defense. They got you lost Myles Garrett, but at least you get back a young edge rusher like Jared Verse. That's the best case scenario. You got Carson Schwessinger. Yes,
I know it was a tough one to pick up.
A little bit, but I want to give
defensive
him his
rookie of the year.
Of course, he looks to be very promising. Quinshon Judkins, a really good value pick at running back. And Harold Fannin, you can't forget. He saved me in fantasy multiple times, so big shout out to him. Yeah, they got all these pieces, and we're just going to have to see how they scheme together. But
Mr. Manning. This is for you. Look at this roster. It could be yours.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll see. But yeah, that's where I have the Browns. Yeah, I think there's still a reason to be optimistic in the coming years, though. Okay, moving on next to the next team. It's a familiar team for me, but it's in a different division, and yeah, I have the Steelers in third place.
Thank God.
Going 9-8.
Okay.
I've seen this movie before as a Packers fan. I've seen this movie of Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers together, and it's just the Mbappe special on offense. For example, nothing. Like they're not.
Whoa, that's a shot.
Listen, I just think that they won a Super Bowl together, for sure.
In 2010.
Oh, that was a while ago. That was
16 years ago.
That was 16 years ago. It's time to let it go. I think, Mike McCarthy, I just haven't seen, especially that Cowboys stint, he was not doing much, he was really doing nothing.
He was winning, though.
He was winning a little bit, but it's I don't know if anybody was realistically looking at these Cowboys teams that he was coaching and saying, wow, these could be real contenders. And I don't know. They definitely add some receiving help. They get Michael Pittman. I like Michael Pittman a lot. I think he's a decent option at receiver. You pair that with DK Metcalf. You have at least players for Aaron Rodgers to throw to, and he's still decent at this stage of his career. It's probably his last season. It's probably his last run. He would want to go with his coach that, I don't know, even though Matt LaFleur, I think, got the best out of Aaron Rodgers, he definitely has that bond with Mike McCarthy, and maybe that'll carry them far. But I feel like, I don't know, anything more than 9 wins is, I'd be shocked, honestly. We'll just have to see how it goes.
Yeah, I'll let you keep going. I have a really long rant about the Steelers
Sure.
that I can do later.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Coming up next, I have 2 teams that I think will probably, I don't want to, contend is a strong word. They'll be very competitive in the AFC playoffs, I would think. Next up, I have the Cincinnati Bengals going 11-6. I think this is a massive bounce back year. They added a lot of pieces on the defense that I really like. I like Dexter Lawrence down there. I think that's the kind of piece that they need. Their offensive line is still, we'll just have to see how they perform. But I think that, you're getting Joe Burrow back. Joe Burrow can still be a top 5 quarterback in the league when he's healthy.
He needs to stay on the field.
He needs to stay on the field. But his ceiling is top 5. He has had these dominant seasons, and he might get a 3rd comeback player of the year because he's just been. They just need to get him help on the offensive line. They need to protect their franchise player, I think. But as long as you have that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase connection and it stays healthy, they will be a dominant offense. They will be a difficult offense to stop. I mean, you see T. Higgins coming in and taking a lot of these reps and looking like one of the best number 2 receivers in the league. This is the kind of progress that you want to see. I'm not sure if they're going to get back to those 2021 heights maybe, but I could see them possibly getting into the playoffs, maybe getting past the wild card into the divisional round. I think that's in the realm of possibility for the Bengals. Yeah, I don't know. But this is a must-win year. This is a year where they really need to pull themselves together and put together a really great season because I think the fans are kind of tired of this team having these big promises and then they're underperforming those expectations. So I think it's going to be key for them to kind of rise up and win most of their games on their schedule. So
the clock is definitely ticking because 50% of their cap is tied to Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins across these next couple of years. And who knows if they even stay with the team if they see the roster take a dip, which is inevitable.
Especially T. Higgins. He could say, I want to be the number 1 option somewhere and, just leave the team.
Well, if you wanted to do that, why would you sign an extension? That's the thing.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Things change. Maybe when he signed the extension, he's feeling different than it is now, especially if they underperform this year. We'll have to see. So,
I mean, their defense isn't that crazy. That's the thing.
Not really, but it is an improvement from last year, I would say.
I mean, anything would be.
Anything would be, yeah. But I think the offense is strong enough to win most of the games, honestly. So I got the Bengals going 11-6. I think that I don't know. See, saying that this team is good enough to win 11 games. But will they? I guess that's another question.
Everything has to go right.
Everything has to go right. If everything goes right, they win 11 games, and I'm just my heart would break for Bengals fans if that would be the truth. So I guess that's why I'm picking 11 wins. But they could easily win like 8 or 9 and
Less.
The floor is less. So this is a high stakes season for the Bengals. All right. Moving on to the last team. I got the Baltimore Ravens. I got them finishing 12-5, top the division. I think again there was a bunch of weird happenings last season. It was not a typical season for the Ravens. I think that they're going to look at this past season and say, okay, what were the issues? And a lot of the issues were kind of tied to John Harbaugh and part of his leadership on the team, honestly. And I think that this is their chance to get a fresh start. You're going to have Lamar Jackson back for a full season. And if Lamar Jackson is back and healthy and competing in every single game, they will always have a chance to win most of their games. He really is that good. I think Derrick Henry, he still has the opportunity to be a very productive back in the league. And I think that this is kind of your last great year with him, I would say. Maybe you get one more. But he seems to be battling up against Father Time and winning, quite honestly. I would hope that other people on their offense kind of take a step up. I would hope Zay Flowers finally, I saw this report that his team was looking for Jackson Smith and Jigba money for his next contract, and I'm like, I can't believe this.
What?
That's the report I was seeing. I mean,
he's never gonna find that anywhere.
Maybe in post we can put that up, but it's you need to perform at that type of level to get that type of money, and I don't know. I just hope that he would take a step up because I think that he's shown a lot of flashes of brilliance. I don't know, but I think the Ravens, they're always going to compete. They're always going to be a team to watch out for as long as Lamar Jackson is playing. And, I can see them getting around 12 wins, certainly winning the division. I think they're the most balanced team in this division. So, those are my rankings.
I certainly agree. I have a lot to agree with this list that you have for me because that's the exact same order that I had.
Nice.
But I will say this. I think all 4 of these teams have a chance to win a lot of games simply because they have easy schedules. The AFC North is finally getting a break, and they have an easy schedule. So, with that being said, let's dive on into the list. I have the Cleveland Browns in last place at 7-10.
Heartbreaking.
I am really excited, though, to watch this team grow because we have a lot of young talent. You get to trade back in the first round for basically nothing and take the same guy that you were looking for the entire time with Spencer Fano. And you get another first-round pick with Casey Concepcion because of last year's absolute fleece of a trade for Travis Hunter. So you get 2 first-rounders off of that. You get Denzel Boston, a steal as well. You get Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, who a lot projected to go 23 or 28 in the first round of the NFL draft this year. He's going to instantly compete with Ronnie Hickman to be the free safety for this football team. The defense already looks stupendous. Mason Graham is a big reason why Myles Garrett had 25 sacks.
He's great.
Mason Graham's stunts on the inside with Malik Collins, it is stupendous interior D-line football to watch if you like watching the 3-text play. That's a big thing of why the Packers had a lot of trouble blocking the Browns. They couldn't handle the stunts from Mason Graham. And according to Rasheed Walker, Jordan Love had to run. So,
he really
Jordan,
did.
run! But I'm also excited to watch Jared Verse, a defensive rookie of the year. He's only in his 3rd year as a first-round pick. More fun things to watch. You get Grant Delpit, obviously. We extended him. He's fun to watch as well. Carson Schlesinger. So many young players on this team. Denzel Ward, I can see him staying with the team for half the year, trading him to a team like the Packers who's quarterback needy. Get some draft picks out of him while you can. He's 29 years old. He's really the only guy that doesn't fit the timeline. I love Denzel Ward. He's the last guy from the 2020 prime Cleveland Browns, but
I hope that trade happens, honestly, because
it's a W for both sides.
I still really like Denzel Ward, honestly. I think
he's really good still.
He's really good still, but I think you're right that he doesn't really fit this new young core era.
We'll be competing in 2 years.
Sure.
And how old will he be in 2 years? 31?
31. And the Packers are trying to get this last push a little bit.
I wouldn't say last push.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We don't need to talk about the Packers too much.
Exactly, but
I think that would be a great trade, and I like the young core on the defense for the Browns, honestly.
And the offensive line is completely new, so with that, you're flipping one of these coins here in terms of what you have. But I like Spencer Fano. He's looked great in camp. He's already taken the starting tackle spot through mini camp. Titus Howard, you trade for him, sign him to an extension, so you got your tackles finally solidified, something the Cleveland Browns couldn't figure out for a long time. DeJuan Jones still plays for this football team, and he was good when he was healthy, so he's good depth, something, again, the Cleveland Browns did not have. Elkton Jenkins from the Green Bay Packers to play center. Something
I miss him.
We do not have a great interior, so adding someone that's a veteran and great on the interior is great. And then Tevin Jenkins and Zion Johnson are the questions. Zion Johnson, coming from the Chargers, a former first-round pick, has a lot to prove still in this league, but he still earned himself a nice, decent payday. So the offensive line could go either way. This could be a really good line, a top 12, top 10 line if everything goes right, if Fano hits. But again, this could it can't be as worse as last year, but it definitely could go either way.
Definitely not.
And we already mentioned before, you already mentioned Harold Fannin Jr. and Quinshawn Judkins and the two rookie receivers with Concepcion and Boston. So where does that take us? That takes us to quarterback. And that's where the downfall of this team is going to be. They're going to beat the teams that they're favored to beat, but they're going to lose to the teams by a lot that they're favored to lose by. So that puts you at 10 losses, and it puts you in the same conversations as my next team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're going 7-10. I don't like this Pittsburgh Steelers roster at all.
Yeah,
I think
that's fair.
They probably should have went 7-10 last year if the Bengals and Ravens didn't burn to the ground with injuries. They were beneficiaries of that. They always get the good luck of teams falling apart around them. That's not happening this year. The Ravens and Bengals are going to be great because they have great quarterbacks, top 5, top 7 quarterbacks. So if you're expecting somehow Aaron Rodgers to beat and pass both a healthy Ravens and Bengals team, you are legitimately insane. I don't like the receiver core at all. DK Metcalf and Michael Pittman Jr. and a whole bunch of nobodies. Jeremy Bernard, didn't like him. He never really peaked in college in terms of production. He was consistent, but he never had the second-rounder type of production that you want to see. So, not excited about that. Roman Wilson, Brent Skoranek, no. That is terrible depth. That is Division III football at its finest. Jalen Warren and Rico Dowdle, that is not elite running the football type of running backfield that you're going to need to keep Aaron Rodgers to a healthy play-action game. So once again, I don't like this team. They've been delaying the inevitable for 2 years. They've been trading for old washed vets for too long. The rebuild needs to happen. Okay? Blow it up.
Yeah.
And Mike McCarthy is the opposite of what they should have done. Mike McCarthy is not a great hire. It's once again delaying the inevitable. How old is he? 62?
Yeah.
So
Twilight years.
He's going to retire too. So again, you're putting things off. Owners this is a case of an owner wanting to win too much. He wants to win in his lifetime, with all due respect.
Yeah.
So that's what they're trying to do, and that's what they've been doing for ages. A 10-7 team that gets absolutely booted in the first round. If that's something they want to watch, fine. This is the best team to do it. But
I think if you're the Steelers, you definitely would want to bottom out, at least next year. You know what I mean? I think it's just they're holding on to nothing. They're nostalgic for a past that doesn't really exist anymore. So.
Yeah, TJ Watt's clock is ticking. Cameron Hayward, his clock's been ticking for a long time as well. There's a lot of Badgers on this team, which is the only positive. Jalen Ramsey is now playing safety because he's no longer fast enough, or I wouldn't say physical enough, because he is physical, to play at the corner position.
They really need to trade these assets while they're still playable, in my opinion. You want to get draft capital out of someone like Jalen Ramsey, or even, I don't know, TJ Watt eventually.
Oh, yeah.
It's
the Browns, they made that type of move with Myles Garrett. Sold at this is probably the absolute highest you could sell Myles Garrett, especially after breaking the sack record.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
I don't think there's a situation this year where Myles Garrett breaks the sack record. I know there's a lot
Probably
more.
Not.
There's more around him in terms of edge rushers and linebackers and offensive. The offense is going to stay on the field. I'll just say that. And there's not a Mason Graham that's on the interior that's making quarterbacks float in the backfield for a Myles Garrett to bend around and get the sack. So yeah, a little tangent there, but moving on to second place in the AFC North. Once again, I'm high on the Bengals. I think if everything goes right, this team can win 13 or 14 games.
Sure.
That's how good this team is in terms of offensive firepower. I mean, if Jamar Chase stays on the field and Joe Burrow stays on the field the entire year, as long as you play competent defensive football, this team can win 13, 14 games. But once again, that's if everything goes right. And their head coach, Zach Taylor, I don't believe in.
He's on the hot seat for sure.
Very much on the hot
seat. You
seat.
need to win. You need to get in the playoffs, and you need to dominate in the playoffs for him to keep his job. I mean, like, that's the reality of the situation right now.
And if you're relying on Dexter Lawrence to bring you to the middle tier of football, I don't know if that's really possible because their cornerbacks are absolutely terrible. I mean, Dax Hill, DJ Turner, Jalen Davis, Brian Cook, the only one here is maybe Kyle Duggar and Jordan Battle. Like, what's here? Dax Hill has been a young, promising player for a while now. And their linebackers, Oren Burks, Demetrius Knight, a rookie, Barrett Carter, they got rid of their best one with Logan Wilson. So this defense lost more than it gained, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're relying on Dexter Lawrence to fix everything. Mm-hmm. And a defensive tackle, newsflash, Mason Graham or something like that. I mean, it doesn't fix everything right away.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not comparing Dexter Lawrence to Mason Graham, but I'm just thinking interior lineman making impact on winning defensive football. You need more pieces around a great interior defensive lineman to do that, and I think if their edges hit, they'll be okay. Mm-hmm. They got Miles Murphy, Jonathan Allen, Shamar Stewart, which Shamar Stewart has not looked good so far. So with that being said, we've already gone over the Bengals enough.
Sure.
So I think they have a high floor. I'm putting them at 10-7.
Okay.
So second place is where they're at. And then Baltimore Ravens, once again, I have them at 12-5 as well.
All right.
Lamar Jackson has a decent defense. Matabike is back. They got an edge rusher finally with Trey Hendrickson. They have good linebackers, Roquan Smith. Mm-hmm. So as long as they have that, they should be able to stop the run, rush the passer. And their secondary has been iffy at times, but when they play great, like Kyle Hamilton leading the way, their corners playing decent. Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey is, in terms of football play, it's bipolar. It's up and down.
I know. And, like, I remember there was a time where Marlon Humphrey, like, we were looking at him.
Jamar Chase owns him.
We were looking at him to be one of these, like, top 3 corners in the league, like one of the faces of the NFL secondary. And, yeah, you're right. It's bipolar.
He's just getting older. It's just what comes with the game.
Yeah.
So with that being said, yeah, I think it's a no-brainer why the Ravens are competing like this. Their backfield, as long as Derrick Henry is still Derrick Henry, you're going to have an elite option game with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. So their receiving game's all right. If Zay Flowers can keep up that 1,200-yard production, that definitely isn't Jackson Smith and Jigba money.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about here?
Man.
He put up 1,900 yards and, like, how many touchdowns? Like, 8, 10 touchdowns, something like that.
It was like, wasn't it over 2,000? Didn't he break 2,000?
No, he didn't break 2,000.
Okay. All right. But he still had like 10 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, maybe
you're not getting JSN money.
Probably not if you're putting up those numbers, but, you know, all respect to Zay Flowers, but geez, man.
Yeah, I didn't think we'd agree this much on the AFC North. I thought the NFC West we agreed on, and yeah, I figured that would be consensus. But
yeah, everything's all good here.
You're not too high or too low on the Browns. They're right where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I was very fair.
I really wanted to put them at third place and really get to the Steeler fans out there.
Yeah.
Especially the Steeler Browns fan on staff. But
hey, man, that could still happen. Well, I mean, I feel like that's like a realistic thing that could happen if this young core like overperforms and like develops.
And the Steelers finally hit their floor.
If they develop ahead of schedule and like the Steelers team like really like is showing their age and not really showing up in these games, like Browns really could jump the Steelers, and I would not be all that shocked.
Yep. And hope it happens. But with that being said, that is going to put a cap on the podcast for today. Drop your AFC North predictions as well if you're watching on the YouTube channel. And if you're listening on the FM airwaves, you can be sure to catch this anywhere, the audio, wherever you get your audio podcasts. And you can check this out as well on the YouTube channel, WSUM 917. We'll see you next time on Toss the Mic.